Hello everyone and welcome to our educational session. My name is Paul Arsov and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project. The topic of our educational session today is staying optimistic in a world seemingly falling apart. The topic touches on psychology, on mindset, and what to do in our dynamic world today. The world seems crumbling in real time around us, and so there is no argue about this. We have got the rising seas and cities which are threatened by it, political chaos, and inequality so vast it feels cosmic, and there are wars driven by fragile egos and unpaid cultural debts, and never-ending apocalyptic parade marching through our news feeds like a sick joke. Pessimism isn't just fashionable, it feels logical. Despair seems like the only sane response. But what if despair is the real con, a sticky, sugary trap that feeds off our paralysis? What if our fixation on everything falling apart is blinding us to cracks of light breaking through the rubble, to the opportunities quietly unfolding while we are too busy scrolling through the next disaster? Despair is a heavy, immobilizing force, and in a world on fire, inaction is the most dangerous side effect. Optimism is in today's climate feels counterintuitive. It feels almost radical, and yet perhaps it's precisely the counterbalance that we need, not the saccharine positivity of ignoring reality, but a measured, resilient optimism, the convincing that things can get better, and that each of us has a role to play in making it so. Lately, we have been digging deeper and deeper into the cause for radical, stubborn, rebel optimism, a philosophy that doesn't sugarcoat reality but stares straight into the void and says, "Not today." Uh, it is not naive cheerleading, it is weaponizing hope as a refusal to bow to the inertia of despair. The data lacks it uh, and backs it. History proves it, and action demands it. In reality, barely held together with duct tape and bad decisions, optimism isn't a fully mindset, it's a survival gear, a pragmatic strategy for those who refuse to accept the status quo as the final chapter. Pessimism has this smug aura of intelligence, doesn't it? The default pose of intellectuals, critics, and legions of armchair philosophers. It is simple math. Predict disaster, wait for the inevitable, and bask in the glow of being right when things go wrong. And if things somehow go right, no one remembers the doomsday spill anyway. Pessimism is the ultimately no risk bet. Optimism, though, That's the sucker's game. It sucks its neck out, risks looking like a fool, and carries the crushing burden of proof. It's mocked as a naive Pollyanna nonsense, even as it quietly powers every meaningful leap forward. Optimism dares to say, what if we are not screwed? And that kind of audacity terrifies the cynics. But history keeps exposing cynicism for what it really is: smug, short-sighted miscalculation dressed up as wisdom. The doomsday prophets have been wrong more often than we have been right. Remember the Club of Rome of 1972 prediction that by year 2000 economic growth would strip the planet of resources. Spoiler, it didn't happen. Innovation outrun depletion. Or so-called population bomb with its grim promise of mass starvation. Turns out agriculture had other plans. Cynicism thrives on underestimating human ingenuity. It bets against progress, and history keeps cashing the opposite ticket. We're not exactly living in utopia, but time and again, when the chips are down, humanity has a knack for pulling a wild card. Cynics predict collapse, and optimists build the solutions they didn't see coming. Why? Because cynicism overlooks one critical factor: human ingenuity and spirit. Problems emerge, but so do solutions. Every age has its doomsayers, and every age has seen humanity outthink its own demise. This distinguishing line between radical optimism and blind toxic positivity. The latter denies problems exist, the former acknowledges them while refusing to see them as insurmountable. Blind positivity insists that everything will be fine no matter what. Radical optimism insists that things could be better if we acted with courage and purpose, not apathy and unadulterated grief. The foundation of this outlook is a Stoic principle: focus on what you can control and accept what you can not. Radical optimism doesn't demand that we ignore climate change, systemic inequality, or rising authoritarianism. It asks us to focus on where we have leverage: technologies to reduce emissions, policies to redistribute resources, movements to resist oppression, and to act decisively. History tells a story of advancement against the odds. Um, some books like Steven Pinker's Enlightenment now documents how life expectancy, literacy, health, and safety have improved dramatically over the last 2 centuries. Consider global poverty. In 1981, 42% of the world population lived in extreme poverty. By 2018, this figure has fallen to less than 10%. The progress has been uneven, yes, and there is far more to do, but the trajectory is unmistakable. Technology compounds this progress. Solar energy costs have plummeted by more than 80% in the last decade, making renewable energy increasingly viable. Advances in artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and materials science hold promise for tackling problems ranging from disease to resource scarcity. The pace of innovation isn't just accelerating, it's multiplying the impact of every breakthrough. To deny this progress is to miss the forest for the trees. Yes, the challenges are massive, but the tools at our disposal have never been more powerful. The Optimist's Toolkit. To thrive as an optimist, you need more than faith. Optimism isn't a feeling, it's a practice, and you need the right tools, mental frameworks, and actionable strategies for navigating this uncertain world. Stoicism offers a practical mindset for resilience. Its central tenet, the dichotomy of control, teaches us to separate what we can influence from what we can not. This perspective inoculates us against despair. It reminds us that setbacks were inevitable and not the end. We can always control our response, and in doing so, we regain agency. It's easy to become cynical about technology. Social media algorithms sow division, automation threatens jobs, surveillance capitalism erodes privacy. But these same tools also offer hope. Social media mobilizes protests, machine learning accelerates medical research. The key is to wield these tools intentionally, amplifying their promise while mitigating their risks. Challenge isn't personal, it's systemic. Systems thinkers like Donella Meadows emphasize the importance of leverage points, small interventions that produce outsized results. For example, changing a single regulation can catalyze entire industries. Optimists think in systems, looking for the nodes where their efforts will ripple outwards. Optimism, if it remains abstract, is useless. Thriving in a broken world means translating hope into behavior, every day in every context. Um, Start small. Optimism isn't slapping on fake smile and overthrowing the universe by Friday. That's the unrealistic delusion in a world that has grown dependent on gratification. Optimism is the slow grind of history, the tiny, deliberate wins that compound. Write down one thing you're grateful for. Journal about not screaming at the void today. Sit still for 5 minutes without plotting revenge on your enemies. These small acts rewire your brain, slowly shifting it from everything is doomed to maybe not everything is doomed. Stuck through these micro optimisms, and before you know it, you have built a mental fortress where progress actually stands a chance. Tiny wins, big results. Just don't forget where and why you started. Throughout history, optimism has been the fuel behind practical human innovation. The audacious refusal to accept limits as anything more than a temporary annoyance. Take Archimedes, the ancient Greek mathematician who looked at the world not as it was, but as it could be. If someone had the nerve to tinker with it. He didn't invent the Archimedes screw to move water uphill or lay down the principles of levers and buoyancy for ships and giggles. He didn't. He did it because he believed human ingenuity could outwit the challenges of nature itself. His relentless curiosity solved the practical problems of the day while building a foundation for the marvels of science and engineering to come. Optimism like this, it inspires, yes, but it also infects, and there is power in that. At scale, optimism isn't a warm, fuzzy feeling, it is explosive power of dynamite. When Martin Luther King Jr. declared, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. He wasn't spreading false style positivity. He was weaponizing hope as a strategy. His words lit fires, mobilized masses, and turned belief into action. Modern movements, climate strikes, equity battles, let's fix that dystopian hellscape with apps. Tech crusades, all drunk from the same well. Optimism isn't passive, it's a spark in the powder keg. Changing demands faith in the impossible, and that faith spreads like a virus. A thriving optimist isn't a starry-eyed fool waiting for the universe to toss them a fucking bomb. They're a schemer. They build routines, systems, and alliances that uh, don't just support their outlook but weaponize it. Optimism in their hands is pragmatic. It's a plot, a strategy, with the blue sky thinking of about Rickian cunning plan. By designing a life that reinforces optimism, surrounding themselves with the right people, the right habits, the right frameworks, they create a feedback loop of wins, big and small. Success begets optimism, optimism begets success, and suddenly what started as a mindset becomes an unstoppable force. Begin each day with intention. Define three priorities that align with your long-term vision, ensuring that each day builds towards meaningful goals. Review yesterday's wins, no matter how small, to maintain momentum and recognize progress. This practice rewires your brain to spot opportunities rather than obstacles. Limit exposure to toxic media while seeking out constructive information. Curate your information diet as carefully as your practical one. Track small victories in a dedicated journal or app. These micro successes compound over time, creating a documented history of progress that sustains motivation during challenging periods. Rebel optimists incorporate mindfulness practices, whether through meditation, journaling, or deliberate reflection. These practices help maintain emotional equilibrium and prevent toxic um, positivity, the superficial dismissal of legitimate concerns. They understand that true optimism isn't irresponsibly ignoring problems, it's maintaining faith in our capacity and will to address challenges. Crises test optimism like nothing else, revealing whether it's merely fair weather positivity or a deeply rooted strategic mindset. The key is reframing see challenges as opportunities to innovate, adapt, and demonstrate resilience. During COVID pandemic, countless businesses pivoted. Restaurants became delivery hubs, school embraced online learning, manufacturing switched to producing other goods. Some of these folks emerged stronger with more versatile business models and broader customer base. Optimism acts not because they ignore a crisis, but because they see potential within them. They understand that history's greatest innovations often emerged from periods of extreme challenge. Uh, the key is maintaining a dual focus, addressing immediate challenges while scanning for long-term opportunities. This approach requires emotional intelligence, acknowledging the reality of difficult situations while maintaining the convictions that solutions for these challenges exist. Radical optimism doesn't focus exclusively on the present, it's a framework and philosophy for designing a better future, building communities of like-minded individuals who support each other's visions and share resources, insights, and opportunities. These networks serve as both safety nets and launching paths, providing emotional support during setbacks and collaborative opportunities during growth phases. Invest in education, technologies, and institutions that multiply opportunities for the next generation. This might mean mentoring young professionals, supporting educational initiatives, or advocating for policies that promote innovation and social mobility. Think in decades, not days, understanding that the most meaningful changes often require sustained effort over long periods. Regular scenario planning helps optimists prepare for various futures while maintaining flexibility. They develop contingency plans out of anxiety, but from a position of empowered preparation. This approach allows them to move quickly when opportunities arise, turning potential threats into advantages through preparation and perspective. We're choking on cynicism and hope is exactly what we need. It's a straight up rebellion. It flips the bird to inevitability. The idea that the climate crisis is a death sentence, that inequality is carved in stone, that broken systems are beyond repair. Optimists are the punks of progress, refusing to bow to the wreckage and daring to imagine something better. And this rebellion is not some lone wolf act, it's collective. Communities fueled by shared hope and harder, they're harder to break. They move quicker, dream wilder, and survive the worst with grit and purpose. The future doesn't belong to smug doomsayers, it belongs to those reckless enough to believe that they can rewrite it. Radical optimism doesn't pretend that darkness isn't there, it stares it down and says, so what? It's the audacity to see the cracks, the failures, the wreckage, and still believe we can claw our way out. Humanity has done it before against odds that made survival seem laughable, and there's no reason we cannot do it again if we decide to. Because optimism isn't a feeling, it's a choice, it's a discipline, and in a world this messed up, it is also a rebellion. The future doesn't belong to the doomsday prophets, it belongs to those stubborn enough to believe it can be better, and reckless enough to make it happen. And with this said, I'm ending this educational presentation. Thank you for viewing, thank you for listening. And I'm coming back to the beginning of this presentation when I told you that my name is Paul Arsov. I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project, and we are working on several projects. The first project that I want to tell you about is the Decentralized Web project itself. We are building a decentralized communication and advertising platform, and when we say decentralization, most people think of blockchain technology, but blockchain technology has multiple and fundamental flaws which make it not suitable to be a driver of decentralization. In our vision, decentralization is built by direct communication between user to user without going through a third party, namely a web server or a central point which collects information and then distributes it to further points. We plan to monetize this project through advertising, and in this project we have our blockchain instance which holds multiple fungible or non-fungible tokens, and it holds the central coin which we use for payment of gas fees, and we do not require our users to pay gas fees for transactions and transfers from our project to users and from one user to another user. The website and the URL of this project is decentralizedweb.org. decentralized and web. These are two words. They're typed all together. Decentralizedweb.org. With this said, I'm going to the second project I like to mention. The second project is actually a pivot project from our first decentralized web project, and in this second project we are building a collection of non-fungible tokens and a marketplace for these non-fungible tokens. What is interesting, special and unique about our non-fungible tokens is that they're based on three-dimensional objects, and with three-dimensional objects there has to be some special software which loads the three-dimensional object. It reads the file of this three-dimensional object. It opens a window on a computer screen. It loads and displays the three-dimensional object in this open window, and it can do additional capabilities of animating this 3D NFT in a way of moving it in a random way around the window. But in addition to these basic capabilities of our 3D software engine, which loads, displays and animates the 3D NFTs that we have, this 3D software engine also have multiple additional capabilities. The first additional capability of our 3D software engine is the capability of speaking. The 3D NFTs can speak in one of three basic voices. The 3D NFTs can speak either in a male voice or in a female voice or in a whisper kind of a voice. In addition to the three basic voices, there are three different flavors of voices. A voice can be spoken in a normal speed manner, or in a fast speed manner, or in a slow speed manner. So if we take, for example, a male voice and it is spoken in a slow speed manner, then this voice can come as the voice of a masculine person or the voice of an old person. If on the other hand we take a female voice and it is spoken in a fast speed manner, then this voice can come as the voice of a little girl or the voice of a funny person. The next additional important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of them having a basic artificial intelligence. Wow, really wow. You can ask the 3D NFT what is your name, and then the 3D NFT is going to reply with their name. You can ask the 3D NFT who are you, and then the 3D NFT is going to reply with few sentences on who they are. You can ask the 3D NFT to describe something. For example, describe Web3 or describe decentralization or describe Russia. And then the 3D NFT is going to describe in few sentences about Web3 or decentralization or the country called Russia. The next additional and important capability is the capability of the 3D NFTs being displayed in a way of stereoscopics. What stereoscopics means is that part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in red or reddish colors, and another part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in cyan or bluish colors. Then you can come to our website, and probably now is the time to tell you the URL and the name of the website of this 3D NFT project. It is 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. 3D NFT is typed in a way of the number 3 followed by the letter D followed by 3 other letters NFT, and it is all together 3D NFT. Then there is dot, then there are two words, decentralized and web, and they're typed all together, decentralized web. Then there is dot, and it ends with org. On the top of every page you can see links to accessories, and like one of when you click on this link to accessories, you are going to see that we are offering special glasses. You can order one pair of these glasses, and when you receive these glasses, you're going to see that one lens of these glasses is red and the other lens of these glasses is cyan or bluish. Then you can put these glasses on. You can request a displaying of the 3D NFTs in a way of stereoscopics, and then you're going to see the 3D NFT as coming out of the flat two-dimensional computer screen, and you're going to see it in real 3 dimensions. With this said, I'm going to end talking about our 3D software engine and our 3D NFT capabilities. I like to mention our 3D NFT marketplace, and in this 3D NFT marketplace we have two distinct ways of paying. But before telling you about this, I like to mention that we are running our own blockchain instance. This blockchain instance runs Ethereum software, and it is the same software which runs on Ethereum mainnet. It runs on Polygon Matic chain. It runs on Binance Smart Chain. It runs on Avalanche Avax chain, and many others, famous and not so famous blockchains. By running our own blockchain instance, we do not require our users to pay gas fees, and in addition to this, they can pay for purchases of 3D NFTs not only with a single crypto coin, but with multiple crypto coins. Currently, the choices include 4 different coins. It includes Solana Sol, Polygon Matic, Avalanche Avax, and Qcoin, which is a big centralized crypto exchange. They have a coin called KCS. In addition to buying and selling with crypto, we have a second parallel and independent way of buying and selling, and it is done entirely in fiat currency. For example, if you are the user, you come to our 3D NFT marketplace, you click on the image of the composite image of our first collection, and then you're going to see all of the 3D NFTs listed one after another in this web page. After browsing, you can see one 3D NFT that you like. You can click on this 3D NFT and you're going to see that it is it has a video which shows the 3D NFT as moving, and you're going to see a drop-down menu of the 4 choices of paying in crypto, and then a 5th choice of paying with fiat currency. So let's say you select paying with fiat currency. then what is going to happen is that you're going to put the number of your debit or credit card, expiration date and CVC, and when you complete the transaction, what is going to happen is there's going to be a conversion from your national fiat currency, which could be different than US dollar, and the payment is going to be deposited in our bank account. What is going to happen then is we're going to make a transaction and transfer of ownership from the initial ownership from the marketplace to you, and now you become the user of this 3D NFT. And with this set, I'm ending talking about our 3D NFT marketplace. I'm going to the next project that we are having, and the next project is about building products which help with charging of electric vehicles. Currently, the number of electric vehicles used by people is growing, and at some point it could exponentially start growing. But this growth faces challenges. Currently, the charging of electric vehicles is handled by stations modeled on the gas station, where internal combustion engine vehicles can come to the gas station. They connect the hose to the tank of their car. They start pumping gas, and then they fill their gas tank. They put the gas pump hose back. They pay for the gas loaded in their tank, and then they leave. In the same way, electric vehicle owners, they come to locations of charging stations. They connect electric cable to their electric vehicle. They start loading energy. They pay for the loaded energy. They stay in their vehicle while they charge energy to their vehicle, and at some point they stop. They disconnect the cable back. They pay for the purchase, and then they leave. But we estimate that the number of these charging stations is going to become ultimately insufficient to charge the electric vehicles. So what we are proposing is, and what we are building products for, is the parking lot model, where users who are living in high-rise buildings, these high-rise buildings, yes, have ground floor parking lot or multiple underground floor parking lots, and the user who comes back to their place of living, they can connect cable to their electric vehicle. They can identify themselves by their debit, credit card, or a token card, or a card, a keychain token, or a near field communication token. And after identifying themselves to the electric charger, the kind of charger that we're building, then the charger could switch and start loading energy to the electric vehicle, and this loading of energy can continue during evening time, night time, and morning time for the electric vehicle of this owner. But in addition to the parking lot, like high-rise building and parking lot at home, many electric vehicle owners, they work in high-rise buildings, and these high-rise office buildings have also a ground floor parking lot or multiple underground floor parking lots. In the same way, the user who comes to work in the morning, they can connect the electric cable, they can identify themselves, they can start charging their vehicle, and they could continue charging their vehicle during morning, afternoon, and maybe early evening while they're at work. With this said, I like to tell you the name and the URL of the website of this project. It is power.arstec.com. Power is the ordinary word for power, then there is dot, and then there's a word which I can spell. It's Alpha, Romeo, Sierra, Tom, Echo, Charlie, Hotel. Altogether, it sounds like Arstec. Then there's dot and it ends with org. Once again, power.arstec.com. And in the website, we put 3 different surveys that you can fill and send to us. One of these surveys is about hardware, and the other one is about software, and the third one is about features. And also we put an article comparing the gas station model versus the parking lot model, and this article mentions multiple additional details in addition to what I told you. And the products that we're building, they are including electric switch for high power and high current. They also include like Wi-Fi capability to provide access point or to connect to other access point station and communicate globally through internet. In addition to these capabilities, we have near field communication reader which could read debit or credit cards. It could read cards, token cards, near field communication cards. It could read keychain, token, near field communication device, and it could read a ring near field communication device as well. And in addition to this, we have a current measuring device which could measure the exact energy consumed and report this back and charge the exact amount of energy which has been loaded from the user. And with this set, I'm ending talking about this third project, and I'd like to mention the fourth project that we work on. This fourth project is called Elements of Artificial General Intelligence and Intelligent Devices. With elements of artificial general intelligence, we have multiple models which have been running, and we have an API set for developers, and we are developing simple applications based on these elements of artificial general intelligence device. The second thing that I want to mention is that we are working on robotics devices, and these robotics devices, they're going to combine vision, and they're going to combine also speaking, voice recognition, reacting on commands, and they're going to include mobility, moving from one place to another, and picking objects and placing them to another location. With this said, I'm ending talking about this fourth project that I have been telling you. Thank you for listening, thank you for viewing. Have a nice day, have a nice evening, and goodbye.